All right, so we are going to be baking, like I said, this pumpkin. It is made completely out of wafer paper. You can do all sorts of designs with this. And to get the 3D ball effect, what we use is a balloon. And so if you've ever done like paper mache, it's kind of very similar to that. I'm just looking at my screen here to see if am I still on screen. If I get off screen, just let me know.
Yep,
So take a regular balloon, blow it up to the size you want, and then tie it just like normal. So we're going to do kind of a small one. You can blow them up bigger. You can make these as large or as small as you'd like. If you'd like to make some little cute ones, you can do that. If you want to make them bigger, I've done way bigger ones as well before too. And then you don't need to coat the balloon with anything at all. We're just going to start spraying our wafer paper with paper potion from Icing Images here. And what I do, since the whole thing is going to be orange, is I just put a little bit of some sort of gel coloring directly into the paper potion if I know I'm going to be using it all with that color, and you will spraying these. So, and then just shake it up really good and get that color, give it a few squirts and make sure you have the correct color. And then just start tearing the paper, just kind of like if you were doing a paper mache project. So we have the regular weight wafer paper here. And it works best to try not to keep the flat lines, but to kind of tear it so that you're having kind of rough edges on most of it as you can, and just different sizes. And so we're just going to shred some of this up into little pieces. This is a great project to do if you already have like a lot of leftover scrap wafer paper, especially if you're cutting out any type of cupcake toppers or anything that leaves you with a whole bunch of excess. I always save all of my wafer paper and my icing sheets. I have a whole bag over there that I keep of all the scraps to make different things with. And so then when I have a project, I'm ready to go. So we're gonna tear up this whole sheet. Like I said, completely random, trying to stay away from having too many sharp lines because those show up more. They don't blend in as well as the jagged edges do.
Hey girl, I'm here, by the way.
Hey,
Hi.
there you go. Now, do I need to lower my camera at all for
We're looking at you, not your hands.
Okay.
I think. Let me make sure. That's what I see. Yeah, now we're looking at your, that's
where we want to be. Okay.
Yeah, but your camera, your light is making it hard to see the white wafer paper against your mat.
All right. Well, we're going to turn it orange. So.
Okay, let's turn it orange.
So I just like I said, I put the dye directly into the bottle. I love those little tiny bottles. I don't know if you guys still have them that you hand out at shows, the little teeny miniature ones. If you have any of those, that's what I use. And I just put the dye directly in the bottles of whatever color I'm using. And then I just take an empty box because this does have a lot of overspray. And a lot of times I'll put just down a sheet of saran wrap so that I can almost soak these back in it as I'm spraying. But you're just going to take your piece of wafer paper, and we'll do it so you guys can see, but can you see how that sprayed orange? So it's already colored. That should show up better.
So Jen?
Yeah.
So Sharita wanted to know, hey girl, by the way, can you just do white and go back later and airbrush different colors?
Absolutely. Yep. I've done white and use like luster dust and different dust to go back on it. You can just use the regular wafer paper, potion paper, and not do any color on it at all. Because I knew I wanted these orange, it was just easier to go ahead and spray them since I was going to do it anyways. So I just spray both sides of it. And like I said, you don't need to put anything on the balloon. Once this dries, it will unstick naturally from the balloon. And what you want to do is really get kind of 2 coats of this. So once you kind of get it going, you'll be able to see if there's any kind of holes that you need to fill in or overlap. But it's really just like doing a paper mache project. And you can see like these little edges aren't necessarily down all the way, but once we hit them with another piece, they will kind of go down. That balloon wants to roll away. So you'd lay another piece over that there, and then sometimes you just have to come back and spray a little bit extra on it if you're missing a spot. And you can see how easy it smooths down. And I've done this, like I've made bases. I made a mummy one time, and the base was out of metal, but then I put tin foil like around the sculpture, and then went over top of it and paper mache'd the mummy with the wafer paper. So you can use it over top of pretty much any base to get the effect that you want for that. If you do it this way and without the airbrush, your fingers will be orange. That's probably one benefit of going back and airbrushing it later. You won't be as orange as. You can see how it just sticks right to the balloon. And once it dries, it naturally will pull away. And I don't know if you can see here how this one has a straight line on it. So the straight lines don't blend in quite as well as like the rough torn edges do. But you can go back over it with a different piece. But if you guys have any questions as I'm spraying away and doing this, feel free to ask. I just realized because I'm not spraying in my box because I'm trying to show you guys I'm getting my wall over there all orange.
Oh no, not the wall.
Not the wall. So yeah, there is overspray with it. So you definitely want to try to keep it in. Try to keep my thing up here.
It is a pretty vibrant orange that you're using.
Yeah, it was just Ian Clark. It's just an orange I found. Probably something I have from SoFlo or something. Who knows? And like I said, you can do this on anything that you want to cover, just like you would a paper mache project. I'll have to find an old picture of the mummy and stuff, but it went really well over it and then made it completely, you know, like an edible outside on the part that we needed covered.
Yeah, I can see Christmas, like the Christmas ornament balls.
Yeah. Good idea.
Can you make a, like with the clown type balloons, those long ones where you make a dog?
You probably could, and because once it dries hard, once this dries, now I will tell you, I did use the paper potion, and you guys, we talked about this, there's no longer alcohol in it. And so I did notice it, because of the conditioner in it, which is wonderful for especially making flowers and all that kind of stuff, it didn't dry quite as hard. Well, at least as fast, I guess I should say, because I was, you know, trying to make a couple so that we'd have them ready. And so I did have to hit one with my hair dryer just to get it to dry a little faster. So you could definitely, I would probably cut it maybe next time with maybe 10% alcohol or something in there to get it to dry a little quicker. But
well, it's humid here right now. It's been
it is, and that's the other thing. And it's humid and it's rainy. So it's like I had it dry earlier and then I took it home and then came back and it was like wanting to deflate again. But they do dry. I had those spring ones that I showed you. Those have been in my old office until like I just moved into this new office a couple months ago. And I've had them for almost 3 years before I threw them away. And they are firm, almost, you know, hard as a rock from the several layers of wafer paper that were on them. So they last forever. So I would imagine you could do it in the shape of, like if you had a balloon in the shape of something and then you just gently pop the balloon and pull it out. If it's already dried hard, it's going to hold that shape.
How long did you try to let it dry for?
The ones here dried overnight and it wasn't dried all the way, but it's hot here in my, like I don't have a fan. I don't have any moving air here in my office. And it, like you said, we've had that not hurricane, but tropical storm. So it's been super wet and moist out here. So
No, did you move your office outside
put them in my oven? Like you said, I turned the light on in my oven of the little one because I have a little one I wanted done so we could pop it today and work on that one when we were done with this, and that worked great, taking it home and popping it in my oven with the light on and just let it sit there. Because one of the things that happen when you are working with the balloons, and I did try to hit it with the hairdryer, of course, heat expands when you get it hot. So the balloon started stretching and it started breaking my, the paper, but the oven worked really well. But yeah, this would be really cute with Christmas balls. And you know, some of the balloons, you can get them in different shapes so that they make more of the bulb effect and stuff too. But this is pretty much it. We just keep going around it until it's got about 2 coats over the whole thing. That makes it the strongest. You'll see where it's kind of got the 2 layers and where there's still, you know, just like 1 layer right there. And then we come up a little higher than we want, so we have some to trim off the top there. When I did the little lanterns, after I trimmed off the top, I put like a strip around it to make a nice even little ledge on the top as well. And that's just what we keep doing.
Hey, Deborah, I'm trying to get the weight for you. It's the middle, if that helps you. And the numbers that you gave me kind of, you got the 27 and the 35, probably, or the 33. I would guess it would be the 27 or the 33 from what she's in the UK.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this is just the regular, not the thicker. I have the thicker. I haven't used the thicker, but I'm imagining it would work well too.
Maybe not. Probably not as well, no. The Smart Sheets should work. Yeah. Did you try those?
I have not tried those yet. I have some over here. I have a pack of them, again, that I got from SoFlo. That tells you how long they've been over there.
Bad girl.
I don't know why I have not. I use the prints every day, but I've not done the Smart Sheets.
So you haven't printed on a Smart Sheet yet?
I haven't.
Oh. Oh. Yeah, you got to do that. Print on the smooth side.
I accidentally ordered the A4 last time. I ordered not too long ago. And I started printing and there was like a little edge left on the end. I'm like, what is going on? And then I realized I ordered the wrong size, but it still works. It's about the same size.
Yeah, we have a lot of people who order A4 now. It just depends what you print because it's a little thinner and a little taller than the standard sheets. And so it's just a preference. So
that's how they are, just slightly thinner. And so I guess the way my printer is set, it didn't recognize it right away. Like it didn't pick up the paper and pull it through.
Yeah.
The same as it did. And I was like, well, I don't want to adjust it because I have the big sheets too. And so I didn't want to get it uncalibrated for that. But now it's doing fine.
Yeah.
It just caught me off guard for a second.
You know, we're coming out with thin, right?
I saw that.
Yeah.
So do you have those in stock?
Not yet. I'm expecting them in October. I don't know when. I would say mid to late. And I'm totally guessing when, based on when they shipped. Madeline wants to know, could you use printed wafer paper? I'm thinking small bats and other Halloween backgrounds. I would think if you watch the way she's putting them on, if you did it, you would only have to be able to spray one side, the side that's not printed. So I don't know if you would spray the balloon in the back of the sheet. I think you would probably have to let it, if you could only do one side, you'd probably kind of have to let it set and kind of dissolve into the wafer, and then it would probably work. But I'd be worried about smearing.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. But we can, like, without it being a color, like we can take some regular wafer paper. All my fingers are all orange, and just do one side. This would be like a regular piece without spraying both sides. So it may work. Especially if
you have to sit.
And you may even be able to spray something over your image, like that glaze stuff that you spray over top of, like Icing and stuff.
Or use a little bit of shortening.
Yeah, to seal the image. That may work. So we almost got this guy covered.
Woohoo! I'm still looking for that weight. Nobody talks about the weight of wafer paper. I almost feel like it's the millimeters and you just didn't realize it. And then I guess based on what you told me, it would be the 0.27 and that would work. Because I'm just not finding weights here. I mean, I know the weight of the pack and I guess you could divide it out.
Well, because you have the heavier and the regular, right?
Yeah.
I have some of both. This is definitely the lighter weight.
Yeah. So who here that's watching was at the New Jersey show this weekend? I was. I know
Yeah.
Tracy was. Who
Tell me
else?
about that. I haven't been to the New Jersey ones like close, and I haven't even been to that one.
I know, I'm shocked. It's like 4.5 hours away. Like the closest.
I know. How many more do you have lined up for this year?
I don't have any right now on the schedule until the end of April. Now, I am going to the semi retreat, but I don't count that as a show because it's too enjoyable. I mean, not that the others aren't, they're just not as, the work, it's more play than work.
Yeah. And that's in Florida too, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
When is that?
That is in January. I want to say the 17th, somewhere around there. I can put the information up. Let me just grab it real quick.
And that's like in Melbourne, Vieira area, isn't it?
Cocoa Beach.
Cocoa Beach, yeah. So that's like right where my sister is.
It is awesome. So I guess you want to go? I'm driving.
I'll drive with you.
All right. For those of you who don't know, she's probably the closest customer distance wise to me. So.
All right. So now we got this guy covered. Just leaving a little bit on top. If you want to come up closer to the top, you can come up all the way. And then you would just leave this to dry at least overnight. If you cut the paper potion with a little bit of alcohol, it may help, especially if you're in humidity for this. It's the first time like I've had, I guess, it not dry like that. The conditioning in the, like if you were to just use water, which I've tried before, it more dissolves the paper than just conditions it to be able to fold and bend. So the conditioner is awesome. But with the humidity, I probably would have cut it just a little bit and then let it dry. But again, I went ahead and put these, or at least the other one over here in the oven, because that's what Deb told me to do with the light on. So while it's wet, you're not going to be able to get this off at all. It's going to stay. If you try to take it off, it's just going to tear your paper. It's stuck. So we're going to set that to the side. Wipe my hands off. Got the other one. But you're orange afterwards.
Or wear gloves.
Yeah, or you could wear gloves. That would be the smart thing.
Well, for me, like I've just come to the point in my life that my hands will always be multicolored. Here.
No, and I think everybody's used to that with me. I was blue the other day. And so this is one that I dried. Now I did try to hit it with the hairdryer, and you can see where the balloon expanded and cracked a little bit. But what you'll do is just come in and nip it where you can like still hold it. You don't want it to pop and explode. You want to slowly be able to release the air at your own rate is the plan. So just let a little hole out. Well, I just let mine out too fast. So it's sucking my ball in, but it should be able to come back up.
Oh yeah, I guess if it deflates too fast, it doesn't have the chance.
You want to do it a little slower than that. But if it's good and dry, it'll pop back up, and then we'll just take out the balloon. And this one
Jesse Ann had
has had a little bit longer to dry, but he'll be okay.
Jesse Ann had the answer at 5.44 grams. She always has the answers.
There we go. And the balloon, you can see it comes right out. And then you have your ball, and you could do whatever you wanted with these little guys.
That's cool.
And so if you wanted to cut out the eyes or the mouth to get like a perfect pattern with the Cricut or wafer paper, you could do that. I just used for this guy, I had just used a marker because I was home trying to dry it, and that's what I had. And so
could you actually like take the balloon, draw the eyes and the mouth on there, like what you want to do, and then not put the wafer paper in the area you want it to be hollow?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And if you had a sharp enough knife, and this was like the other ones that I had, they were, and you can hear there are parts of this that are really dry and hard. There's a couple that aren't. And honestly, it's more, I don't know if you can see this, like right here, there's only one layer, that little spot. So it's kind of soft versus like right beside it where it's got a couple layers of paper on it.
Like the baby skull.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, you could cut it out too after you were done if you wanted to.
Okay, so I got another question. So when you're done, like you take the balloon out, could you fill that, put candy in it or something in it, and then cover the hole and finish paper macheing it?
I don't see why not. If this hadn't ripped with my blow dryer, you'd only have a small hole like that, and you could completely just cover that right back up. And even this, even though it's ripped, if we weren't like doing this, I could just get a little bit of this and just seam those edges right there. So if you do have a little bit of a rip, that's all you got to do, and you'll seam it right back together. And just wait for that to dry. See how that quickly that went back together right there?
Yeah. As long as you don't move it around and let it dry.
Well, if as long, yes, exactly, as long as you let it dry. But you would only have that little hole there to cover, so you could fill it and then cover it right back up. And
Don Joyner said the Ziodo pen would work great for that.
That's the one that like heats, right?
Yes.
I was thinking that. That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, man, if we had that, it would probably cut right through there, and you wouldn't even have to put pressure on it.
Yeah.
And then for the handle, I did use a wire in this one just because I wanted to be able to put it up and move the handle. But you could just attach it with, make it. So we'll do that real quick, and I'll do it with the wire just because it does give it a little bit more structure there, but the handle is super easy. I just used a floral wire. And then just cut a couple strips of wafer paper. And you guys still good seeing my desk here?
I have desks if you want them. When we just moved, and the place came so stocked with cubicles and desks and chairs. It's like everybody who comes over leaves with a chair. Really
That's
funny.
what happened. That's why I left with the chair. I threw my thing here on the ground and knocked my blade out. So I'm just going to cut a couple random strips, about, I don't know, maybe a little less than half an inch wide. And I do about 4 so I can have 2 on each side. And so I'll just take 2 of these strips and use the clear paper potion, spray one of them, and then hook the other one. Just seam it to it like that. So it just makes it, honestly, you could use the thicker paper for this and not have to do 2 together. And do the same thing for this one. And then spray the outside of that one again and lay it down. And I'll just lay my floral wire right in the center of that. And then put this one on top of it. And just seal that down. And so if you have any edges, you can just come in with a little brush or a little spray and seal up those edges all the way down. And then this will be able to bend, especially once it's dry, but to make a handle. So I just bent it in like that and then just bent these guys in like that. And they just went in the side of the pumpkin right there, just two tiny little holes. And that way it will pivot if you want it to. And I just use the black marker to color on that as well. So yeah, this little guy set up nice. And like I said, you could cut out eyes or a pattern or something you wanted on it. But the markers draw on it really nice too. So you can see how quickly and good it takes on there. So once it's dried, it's easy to do. Decorate them however you want. I would like, especially like with the Christmas, doing the Christmas balls and stuff, to be able to cut out other strips, like either with the Cricut or with the paper punches, and put pretty borders and stuff around the Christmas ornaments. That would be really pretty.
And then like for New Year's, you could take a bunch of wafer paper, spray it different colors, cut up into small pieces, put it inside, and you can break them, and then you have like a confetti ball.
Yeah. That's what you could do with all your scrap pieces of paper.
Yep.
So just give him some gnarly teeth. Yep.
All right.
Yeah, I like the idea of filling them up with something and closing that hole. That would be super easy to do.
It's the new cocoa bombs.
Oh.
We got the new fad. It started right here.
There you go.
And Lloyd's sitting there saying no cocoa bombs.
Yeah. I like the tea bombs that they do with the Icing shells. Have you seen those?
Yeah.
I've always wanted to do those. I have not, but
Well,
so yeah. So I will, let me turn off the light real quick, and I will go dark in here and show you guys what it looks like in the dark really quick. I'm still here.
Ooh, spooky.
Bear with me.
Ooh. No, that response was from Icing Images, was actually from Lori, not me, but she would call them pumpkin bombs. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. I love the variations.
Yeah. So yeah, can you see him? Is he showing up?
Yeah. Oh no, he shows up really cool.